Hi, my name is Debonair Kovacs. I am a writer and a speaker, and under normal circumstances, I would be able to set up speaking engagements at your church or school or book club or libraries and things like that. And naturally, this year I haven't been able to do anything like that, so I thought I would do a series of little mini author talks here on my YouTube channel. Today, I'm going to just do a really quick roundup of all of the 8 books that are currently available. You will see different places if you read my website and profiles and things that I have written 28 books. Actually, I think it's 29 books now. But excuse me, the majority of those are work for hire, textbooks, things like that aren't necessarily available to the average reader. So I'm going to talk 1 minute each about the 8 books that you can find on Amazon, Barnes & Noble, Kobo in Canada if you want an ebook in Canada, and also direct from me. I'll make sure to, in the notes below, it says how you can contact me. So I'm going to go backwards. My latest novel, which is just out, is called Love Circle. And it's a story of a little cul-de-sac. It's named Love Circle because the developer slash slumlord who created the place and built these rackety buildings is named G.H. Love. So it's called Love Circle, but there's nothing loving in it. There are a lot of people there who are living lives of not much hope, quite a bit of desperation and unhappiness. And one person decides to try to reach out to somebody. She's a little bit afraid. In fact, this book is my particular small contribution to the effort to reach community among the various, what we call races. I believe there's only one race, the human race. But this book, an old white lady realizes that she's been more racist than she realized, and she reaches out to one person, and this is the story of what happens after that. Love Circle, available anywhere books are sold. The last novel before that one was called Seacliff. This one is a few years old now, but still very popular. I had a lot of fun writing this. It's kind of my homage to the Heroine in Peril. It's first person, as all heroine in peril stories should be. They're actually 2 sisters, and they're trapped in this old mausoleum of a house called Seacliff by the sea captain who originally built it. There's been a big storm. They're on the Maine coast, and there's a big storm, and they're trapped in this house with a few people that seem a little bit off their rocker, and some mysteries and some romance, and it's just a lot of fun. So Seacliff by Debonair Kovacs, available anywhere books are sold. My first novel was called Gala's Gardens. I should mention, by the way, I have been forgetting to mention that I paint these covers. I painted this one. I painted Seacliff. This one was painted by an amazing artist, Lindsay Holmes. She is the one who painted that one. So Gala's Gardens is about a young woman who works at one of these big estates where you can go and see the gardens. Nobody actually lives at the estate most of the year, although the owners come through once in a while and create some chaos and leave again. There's a weird, scruffy guy hanging around at Eden's Gate, it's called. In fact, I like my one-liner. Can 2 loners hiding from wounded pasts find peace in a garden called Eden? This one's pretty much straight romance. Before I published the 3 novels, I have had several Christian nonfiction. So the rest of these are direct Christian nonfiction books. One of them is a little hard to get, but I'm going to be republishing it this year, so we'll come to that. This is actually one of the first books. Well, I'm getting a glare now that the sun has moved. You can tell this is not a professionally produced video. 10 Promises Carved in Stone. In English, thou shalt or you shall is a promise form. We don't use shall very much anymore, but shall is actually intended to be only for first person. When you put it in second or third person, it becomes a promise. This is an exposition and consideration of the 10 Commandments from the point of view that they are, in fact, 10 promises from God. The next one was called Biblical Meditation for Non-Mystics. This one and the 10 Commandment one were both originally published by a different publisher under different titles, and that material is inside the front cover if you care. Biblical Meditation for Non-Mystics is a method. It's actually a method of using the Bible for meditation, and not meaning empty your mind kind of meditation, but for meditation on something, to focus your attention on a story and put yourself in the story using your five senses of what you think you might see and hear and smell and taste and touch if you were there that day. So, biblical meditation for non-mystics. I don't think there's such a thing as a non-mystic, but if you think you're not a mystic, this book is for you. This is the one I debated about talking about. This one. It's called Gardens of the Soul, and there aren't many of them left. It's out of print. I will be republishing it again this year. This one is a little different. It's the main chapters are very Bible study oriented. I got the idea one day, what if you wrote a book about cultivating your soul? Subtitle here is Cultivating a Devotional Life with God. And you wrote it as if it were a gardener's manual. So a how-to about finding the right soil and the water and the sunshine and shade, and there's grafting and all kinds of things. What if you did that? And when I started looking in the Bible under that topic, of course I know that they were very much an agrarian society at the time. The whole world was an agrarian society at the time that the Bible books were written. But I was amazed how much I found. And so this whole book is written as if it's a gardener's how-to. But in between every chapter, and all the chapters are, like I said, very deeply Bible study oriented. If you don't like looking up lots of texts and digging into the meanings of them, you may not like this book as much. But in between each of those chapters is a little parable, a chapter of a little parable that goes on through of a gardener who is hiding in trying to keep her garden going. And the gardener comes one day and offers to take it over for her, and what happens from that. A lot of people tell me that they like the story in between as much or more than the Bible study chapters. I have a labyrinth at my property. This is actually a photograph of the entrance. We have a cedar post trellis leading into the labyrinth. And this is just a little tiny book. This one's, I think, $4. 40 Ways My Labyrinth is Like My Life. They were originally written as 40 devotionals for the Lenten season, which is the last 7 weeks before Easter, and it ends with an Easter devotional. And they're just little short devotionals. They are good for any time of year, though they were intended for Lent leading up to Easter. 40 Ways My Labyrinth is Like My Life. You might find it's like your life too, by Debonair Kovacs. And last, I had to mention this. This is actually not available from me or from all those other places I've been talking about. This one is available from a place called adventsource.com. Adventsource.com. Taking care of God's stuff, God's way. It's about stewardship of everything, not just money, about stewardship of your time, your treasure, your talents, your money, the planet, each other, written for children. There are 25 short stories for children that are suitable for children's moments in sermons, in schools, or in Christian schools at any rate, and family devotionals and so forth. Each of these stories lists at the top, just under the title, it'll tell you the age of children that story is suitable for. And it ranges pretty much, I'm going to say 5 to 10 or 11. So that one is, I think, if I'm not mistaken, it's $8 or $8.99 at adventsource.com. Taking care of God's stuff, God's way. So that's a roundup of the books that are easily available right now, and I hope to see you. You can find me on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and Patreon. I especially would love it if more people who appreciate my work and want to help in the ministry will support me on Patreon. There are all kinds of cool gifts on there. So I'll put all that information in the notes below. Thank you. Bye.